Hi, welcome back to Phoenix Rising Reacts. I'm Lee,
And I'm Ash.
and we are coming to you today. This is going to be a slightly different, it's going to be more of a background podcast, but we're also making this into a video for our YouTube and Patreon channels to make it just, just to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of difference. And it's kind of like an intro to who we are. We've got several people that are with us, and we just thought it might be fun to share a little bit of background as to who we are and all the things, and tell you about how Ash and I met.
Yeah. So,
Just thought that that might be fun, because getting to know, because we talk often that we are a movie family, and how can you not know some about us? Since we are the hosts of Phoenix Rising Reacts, we give little brief things, personal things, in our videos and podcasts, but we've never actually told you the story of how we became the Ash Lee. Pun intended, Ashley. But we just thought that this might be a little fun to do a little get to know how we came to be. And we are coming him and I, we are coming up on our 4th anniversary, and we have been in a long distance relationship this entire time. I'm in Texas and he is in
North Carolina.
and basically 20 plus hours away from one another by car. So, and we've managed to hold it together for 4 years. Um, and you would think that with a long distance relationship that it would simmer and kind of die off after a while, but honestly, I get to love this man more and more every day. He has become the joy of my life, and I just really enjoy every moment that I get to spend with him. And he kind of came out of left field for me.
Like the RKO out of nowhere.
RKO out of nowhere. It really was. What was it you said that one time? The
But
the Lee out of nowhere or something like I can't
Lee out
remember.
of nowhere.
He said that before because he wasn't expecting me either.
Hmm.
Both of us have had bad relationships in the past that didn't work out for various reasons. I guess I'll tell my side first because it kind of begins with me. So I'd gotten divorced, and I had gone out with some new people in between meeting him, and it was just like the sludge fest is the only best way I could put it. I mean, it was absolutely awful. I'd gotten on because I lived in a town, I didn't really know anyone, and you don't want to go dating anyone that you work with because that's like pissing in your own in your own pond. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
If it doesn't work out, then you got drama at work. And so I was on the dating apps and everything. I used to be a very, very large woman. This stuff here, guys, this is from a lot of weight loss. I was like 360 some pounds at one point, and I now have loose skin, which is extremely embarrassing, especially since it makes me look like 10 years older than what I am. I'm gonna get it removed eventually. But um I had gone out on these, I'd met people, talked with them, did all this and that, and it was just like, and pardon the language, one fuck boy after another, basically. Um, it was just absolutely awful. And after the last one that I went out with, I was just like, you know what? I'm freaking done. I can live confidently on my own. I don't need no man. I'll become the dog lady. I'll get me like 10 Datsuns. And we'll rule an area. This is where I was at. I was seriously done. I was just like, you know what? There is no decent men out there, and I'm getting too old for this shit. In the words of Danny Glover, I'm getting too old for this shit. So I was like, I'm done. And very adamant about it. And I went out to work. I was working in evidence at that time, as a, evidence clerk basically, and logging all the evidence in and doing this and that with it and stuff like that for the local sheriff at that where I was living at that time. And I was got to work in my Mustang. I had a Mustang at the time because I like speed. But anyway, I'm sitting out in the car and I get this thought go through my head. You need to get on eHarmony. Like, oh hell no. And so I started arguing with this inner monologue going on. I was like, no. And as I'm scrolling through Facebook, I was by myself and all these ads kept popping up on Facebook. It was like, son of a, I'm out in the car and I'm just adamant, guys. I'm not kidding you. I was freaking adamant. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to do this. Screw all men. But it bugged me all day. This inner monologue voice, and I attribute it to God poking and prodding me all day long, all morning long. Because finally, right before lunch, I was just like, fine, I'm doing it, but I'm not paying for it. So I got on and did that whole, and let me tell you guys something about eHarmony. Our eHarmony isn't like Match and isn't like Tinder and Bumble and all those things. It actually has a very detailed profile that you have to do. You have to answer all like about 1,000,000 questions to even create your thing, and it basically it puts all together who you are, right? Took me a while to get that thing together, and working on it while I'm at lunch, and I'm loading and I've got the base frame. I had a few pictures on there, and I'm still loading pictures, and all of a sudden there was this message that came in. I'm not even done loading pictures, guys, and it was this man right here.
Where? Oh, me.
And this is an important point, okay? I had specifically, because I've had long distance, two of my more serious relationships before were long distance relationships also. Going back to the big fat girl thing, even though I've lost over 160 pounds, since then, and even well, it wasn't quite that much then. It was about 140, I'd say, or something like that, at that point. And even with that, so long distance was better, but it led to some situations. But anyway, I had set it on my search, so I didn't realize it wouldn't set it across the globe. I set it local only. So he comes in. I just clicked over to his picture, look at his picture. Oh my God, he's so cute. And yeah, he's a little bit younger than me, but oh my God, this guy is hot. I couldn't believe it. All right. For a former very large fat girl, this was like major, like pride that came. And I was very specific in my pictures of making sure I had pictures that showed what I looked like. I mean, really, truly, totally looked like, because I wanted no mistakes. I didn't want to be showing up somewhere and I didn't want none of that. I took unfiltered and everything like that pictures and put them up. And so I get this message from him out the door, and I can't even remember what he said exactly, but it was captivating. So I messaged him back thinking that this man, I didn't look at where he was from because I just assumed he was local. I'd put in the state of Texas, all right? I mean, Texas is huge, but, if so long as you're in the same state, it doesn't matter because I love Texas. But anyway, he had messaged me, and I got captivated. I answered back. Okay, so here's the downside of eHarmony. I told you it's not the same as like Match and those others. Even if the other party is a paid party, they only let you send one message before they make you pay. And so he messaged me back, and it was really long what he wrote this time. And I go to look, and it only let me see the first couple lines, and then it said, "You must pay to see more." And I was like, no. And at this time, I was very broke, all right? So I was like, oh my God. And because it was just that little snippet, and I felt this immediate connection with this man. And so I was like looking everywhere and I had just enough of my PayPal credit to charge the first month because it's expensive, guys. It's like you have to agree to like 6 months and it's like $80 a month or something like that.
Mm.
80, $90, something like that. So, um, I had just enough in the account and I charged for that month. And then I read his message and just got hooked even more. He wrote me back. We ended up writing, I think the whole day, wasn't it? Back and forth. And then at that point he said he wanted to call me that night. So let's hear your side of the beginning of our story.
Well, the beginning of our story. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
because there's
your
not much.
side leading up to that point
There's
before
not
we
much
talked
to
on the
hear
phone.
about myself prior to us meeting. Yeah, I don't want to go into too many details of that.
Hey, I
think
already
it-
said that we had bad relationships.
I was going to say, I think everybody would just turn
Some
it off.
of his exes
if
are
they're-
on my hidden hit list. Let me just put it that way because of how bad they psychos.
Hey,
No, they were psychos. Some of them. I was like, oh my god. I thought I had it bad.
Well,
He had it much worse.
fortunately for you and everybody else, I survived and I'm still here and able to do this podcast and reactions. So thank goodness for that. And I'm glad that Lee is okay as well. Goodness, considering what we've both been through. But when I first called her, I said, hi. I said, is this Lee? And she's like, yes. Yeah, she was rather surprised. I think she was taken aback by how my voice sounded.
Is such a sexy voice.
I put on my sexy phone voice. I'm like, hello, is this Lee?
Instant hooking. Let me just put it that way. He hooked me in with that
like,
voice. I was like, whoa.
Well, hi. How are you doing this evening? Blah blah blah. But anyway, that's the whole point, is that we didn't just give each other the small talk. I actually am not a
No.
fan of small talk at all, and that's probably the reason why Lee wrote me back on eHarmony, was because most people, they say, "Hey, what's up?" or "Hey, you're cute," or "Thanks, how are you doing?" or blah blah blah. Just
or
simple.
they go into nasty things,
or they go straight into nasty stuff, but it's still not in
several of those.
It's not in detail, and it doesn't describe anything that's in their profile. And that's what I did. I actually read over her profile, and I looked for something that we had in common that we could talk about. And so that's what we did. Well, I didn't talk about anything serious right away. Didn't talk about anything dirty right away. I just talked about what we have in common and what we seem to be looking for. And from then on, we started talking for, God, how many hours that night?
We talked for a while that first night, and then we actually set our first date. This began our video journey.
Oh, the first date was October 27th. Well, 27th was when we initially
met
and talked on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 days later, on October 29th, was our first virtual video date through Messenger. And we figured out a way to sync up movies that we had, and we can watch movies together. We just point the cameras at each other, not at the screen, because we can see each other's reaction. Because we like reacting to each other.
Yeah.
And our very first movie of choice, since it was 2 days before Halloween, and I found out this was Lee's, one of her favorite horror movies. She's like, let's watch Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm like, whoa. It's like I'm like, oh no, red flag. She's one of those psycho girls. I'm like, no, but she's really not. But you know what? I love Nightmare on Elm Street. And I was like, this is a perfect movie. Like, this is the kind of movie, if she likes this movie, if she can handle it, if she enjoys it just as much as you do, that she can pretty much handle anything. So it's like, go straight into the hardcore movies. That's the best thing to do. And we loved it. That became
we had such a great time
a
together
tradition
that night.
for us every year.
And it was even though our audio, because I was trying to hear him through my phone, and it's hard for me to hear out of my phone sometimes. And especially at that time, our messengers weren't lining up quite right in the audio. But even then, we had a really great time. I actually caused one of our funniest stories is that we were talking. This is where he calls me the slithering snake sometimes, because we're talking and I was wearing a really slick shirt and I was gonna get reach over and get something. Then I got worried about how big my ass would look on
She was
camera.
sitting on her bed. You were sitting on your bed. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I decided to kind of reach over real quick. Well, I had a slick pillow there, and I ended up going whoop
She, okay. Okay.
on my camera.
I wish I would have recorded it. It is the funniest thing
The
I've ever
look on
seen.
his face was priceless. It is forever etched in
It
my.
was like my face, my expression was like this. It was like,
It really
and I was just
was.
staring at the camera, like, what did I just see? And I was like, what
Because
the
it
hell
looked
was
like
that?
a snake the way I just slithered.
Well, what made it so funny is how it happened, but the fact you were also trying to conceal it from me. You were trying to be stealth-like, but you ended up looking just like a snake. The covers were like silk, and so you. And of course, the bed's on near the edge of the frame of the camera, so she's reaching, and she tries to reach down on the floor, face down, and she's reaching and reaching, and all of a sudden, the rest of her body, she just. Whoosh, and you see her legs just go along with her out of the frame. She's gone. You don't even see her anymore. You just see her like a snake just slither on out of there. And of course, also, she's a snake in the Chinese horoscope. So that's where I also get that. So I was like, yeah, you really are a slithering
I'm the
snake, aren't you?
anaconda.
I'll be like, and that's where we get the Randy Orton jokes.
Yes,
Look at Randy
yes.
Orton slithering.
That was I was mortified, guys. I was like, oh my god, what does this man think of me now?
I laughed my butt off, is what I think, and I didn't care what she thought. It was so funny, and that's the thing. We both could laugh about that together.
Yes.
We weren't. Neither of
Yes.
us were too ashamed or embarrassed or anything like that to say,
It
"Oh,
was
that's
like-
disgusting. That's so rude."
It felt like when we first met, it felt like I had known him forever. I don't know how else to explain that. And as we've said at different times on our show, we are very much alike. I mean,
We are simpatico.
almost in a scary way. We're so similar in some ways. Now we do have differences that make it the spice of life, but for the most part, we are very much alike in the way that we think and we process how we react to things. We're just very much in the way that we view things. We're just very much alike. And um, after all this, and this is gonna sound wild, but I was reading. His mama has a book, which, by the way, if you have not bought it, this is a plug for her book. Tell him about the book, Ash.
Well, very, very briefly, very briefly.
Very briefly.
My mother was born in Hungary, the country of Hungary, in 1954, and she escaped with my grandparents in 1956 during the Hungarian Revolution of 56, when, of course, the Russians had seized control of Hungary and Eastern Europe. And they were trying to stop anyone. My grandfather, I found out many years later, my grandfather was a freedom fighter. He really was. And they found out about him and they were coming to get him. And they had to leave everything behind one night. And they barely made it alive running through the woods. This is a true story because several of their friends didn't make it. And they made it to a ship that Eisenhower had sent over to retrieve many Hungarian refugees at that time. It was probably one of the biggest ships they'd sent over to Europe at that time. And they all came over, I think December 24th in 1956 is when they arrived. And so they barely made it to Ellis Island, New York.
Mhm.
And it's just a very harrowing journey, not just about her and them living in Hungary and escaping Hungary, but then the ordeals of what they had to overcome once they arrived in America in 1956. Because in 1956, Americans were not fond of immigrants of any kind, whether you were peaceful, legal, it didn't matter. It's like back in the day, they didn't want the Irish. They didn't want any foreigners of any kind. And it didn't matter how nice you were, how hard you worked, or how much you wanted to assimilate and love the country. But that, again, the book goes into detail about how my grandparents did love America and they did everything they could. They started their own businesses. They started careers. They had a big family.
Book.
And it comes full circle at the end, but it's a story that is almost never told and that people don't know about in history. It's a part of history that people don't know about. But yes, so thank you for mentioning that.
It's called Bittersweet Freedom.
Yes.
And it's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. Or CarpathiaBooks.com, right? Can they order through there?
It's CarpathianValleyBooks.com or Amazon. Bittersweet Freedom. It has the Statue of Liberty on the cover.
Yes.
Yes.
But it is a
I've read
fantastic book.
It's a beautiful read, but it's very hard. It makes you cry anytime I read
gosh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So wanting to get inside the mind of this beautiful man.
What beautiful man? Wait.
Right there.
Oh.
Trying to get in the mind because I am extremely smart. I might act like a ditz, but I am actually very smart. But anyway, I wanted to get into the mind of, I wanted to get in his mind, but also wanted to understand his parents and his background, his ancestry, all of that. So I read through that book very quickly. I actually had it both in paper and paperback, and I had it on my phone. So when I was at work, if I was in the bathroom or whatever, I admit I do that. But anyway, I would be
Everybody
reading the
does
book.
that now. Yeah.
I'd be reading the book, and I got through it within like a day or two, I want to say, and I was weeping by the end of that book, and I just felt like this whisper in my spirit that someone told me, take care of Ash. Take care of Ash. Basically take care of Ash was the message that I felt. And the same kind of message was, he's the one. He's the one. And
I am the chosen one.
He is the chosen one. But I just felt this deep in my spirit. I still say it was God. I feel like that maybe it was his ancestors talking, possibly too, and through the spirit or something. But there was a very emphatic "take care of Ash" statement, and so that actually, through some of the harder points, which we have not had that many, guys. I mean, not like you would think. There's just been times where there was some misunderstandings, and it was mainly just because we hadn't fully talked it out yet, that came up that were nothing, but I would always hear that thought in my head, that voice in my head saying, take care of Ash. And it got over the few tiny little bumps that we had. But he is just very dear to me. There's no one that has ever fully cared and loved me the way that he does. And he is, for me, a godsend because he is just amazing. And I just absolutely love him. I love every little quirk, and he loves, I'm assuming, every little quirk of mine. We've had some fun. I mean, he's very serious when like storms and stuff come up, and I'm more like, yeah, let's go out and take pictures. And he's just looking at me like, what is wrong with you?
And I'm like, Lee, you do know that there's a tornado warning and it's like 2 miles away. I don't care. Who cares? Seek shelter. No, take pictures. You're like,
I've got a picture, and if I can, I will add it on here so you guys can see the look he's giving me, because I'm just like, I want to get a selfie with, because I was there at his place. It was one of the rare times I get to be in person with him. And he just got this look like,
I was standing there and I turned over my shoulder. I was half awake. This was early in the morning when I knew the storms would hit. Like 2 days in advance, I knew it was going to be there. And so I'm up early. I set my alarm to get up early because I didn't want to be awakened by a tornado warning. And I turn over and my hair's a mess. And I was like, give her this scowl. Like,
because I was like, I want to get a picture with you.
Like, are you serious? but I didn't get angry.
No, he wasn't angry. He was just more like, "Are you serious?" It was more of that was the home screen on my phone forever after getting that picture, because it makes me laugh every time I look at that picture. But there is secrets to having a long distance relationship. One, you have to prioritize the other person. Ash actually has a formula that he calls the 3 S's for any relationship. But in terms of the long distance, I'm going to let him explain the 3 S's. But as far as the long distance part, the things that you have to do is you have to make a visual contact every day. This is kind of how we came up with the reaction, because we were doing this already.
We were watching movies or shows anyway every night.
Yeah. Every night, already we would spend time together that way. When we can't be together, fly out whenever we can and stuff like that. And which unfortunately is only about 2 times a year. And sometimes it's three or some. I have done it 3 or 4 times before, but it's usually only twice a year because it's very expensive, and we are not money people, This is, then that's kind of like I have a savings saved up to eventually move there. I'm willing to give up my beloved Texas for this man, but I have a savings saved up for that. But the cost of living for the two of us at this point is something that wouldn't work yet. And we want to be fiscally responsible and everything like that before we continue forward
Yes,
in
we
our
basically we care enough about each other to not jump into anything without foreseeing any potential problems that might arise by being too
correct.
hasty and saying, "Oh, yeah, let's just move in together." Oh, well, what about your job, my job, money, time, housing, all these other things you have
Yeah,
to
and I
think about.
now I've been
Yeah.
and we've been working towards it because I now have a position with the government that I am able to remotely work full time. And it's a definite step up in my career, but I am able to work at home remotely, and I can live anywhere in the U.S. So that side for job wise anyway is set up, and now it's just as we
Yeah.
as the combined, so we don't know how much longer we'll be long distance, but my love for this man will continue as long as it takes because there is no one that is more perfectly suited to me than he is.
Duh.
A- no, seriously, and honestly, I think that he would probably say the same about me, that the two of us, because we are so much alike. But this will go into his three S's, so I'm going to let him explain to you what the three S's are in a relationship.
Yeah, the three S's. Anyway, I came up with this one night. I did not look into it online. This is just something I made up in my head because I was trying to figure out how is this working so well and how is it working? Like if I could break it down into like three important factors that every relationship should have in order to succeed, like not just happen, but succeed, would be the three S's are this. The first one, I'm just going to say them first and I'll go into detail about each one of them. The first one is sexy. Okay. The second S is silly. So we got sexy, silly, and the final S is serious.
Mhm.
So, and I'm like, I really thought about it. I said, okay, sexy, silly, serious. So we'll start out with the obvious, sexy. And sexy, I will clump into, let's say, attraction, uh, romance, intimacy, stuff like that. That's something that usually attracts most people to each other is the sex. I'll
The
be honest.
the
It is.
pull, yeah.
The pull, yes, the attraction. And that's great. That is very important. It's very important to be able to be physically close with each other in a relationship and to desire each other always. I'm not talking about be crazy about each other, like nonstop wild. Heck, I don't mind.
Neither do I.
I don't mind.
Well, and that goes into another part of it, is that you have to be on the same playing field, if you get my drift. In other words,
You have to have
you
the
don't
same
want to have
drive.
have the same drive, have the
Yes,
same amount of passion. Um, because
that's the right word.
if you
Passion.
have
Yes.
a mismatch in that, you're going to have one partner feeling slighted because they're not
Hmm.
getting everything that they need, and vice
Yes.
versa, or the other partner feels like that's all you want. So
Right.
you have to have matching passion. Otherwise, and that's part of that S.
So, with that being said, let's say you are completely sexually compatible. You have the passion, the desire, the romance, all of that stuff. So, let's say you're set. You're like, oh man, this has been like one long honeymoon phase for months. And that's usually how it is for many couples starting out. But then after a while, okay, what else do we have in common? And what can we share together? What are our interests that keep us together, not just the
Hmm.
intimate stuff? So that's where I came up with being able to be silly together. Now, when I mean silly, I mean vulnerable in a way where, like, you can share your like inner child, your inner heart, your silliness, things you may not feel comfortable talking about or sharing or doing with anyone else, but you feel comfortable sharing it with your partner. Like,
Mhm.
let's say we both like the same movies, we like
Mhm.
the same animes, we like the same silly thing. We can laugh at the same things. That's the
Yeah, we
thing.
have the same kind of sense of humor. We both we
Same
acknowledge it.
sense of
We
humor.
have a dark sense of humor a lot of times. And we also like the in the silliness, we understand when we're just joking around that we're not being serious about something. We're able to play with each other and harass each other. He's my best friend on top of my man. Uh,
Exactly.
and we have a lot of he roasts me. You guys have seen him roast me. You have no idea. He's my best friend. He roasts me.
Well, it's more, it's not really roast as it is, let's say, a playful tease.
Yeah, it's a playful
We
roast. It's
we
not
we
a
respect each other.
meanness.
It's like a
Yeah.
respectful roast among friends. Like, how you do, how guys might do with their buddies or whatever.
Mhm.
You just you what's it called? I don't want to go profanity, but talk to each other. You're talking smack, talking about each other, but it's all playful. It's all in good fun.
Playful,
You know.
fun, and
Yes.
and everything, and yet it's so important that you can be free with each other and have fun with each other. I mean, one of my relationships fell apart because we had nothing in common except for
Hmm.
our faith. That was
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
We had absolutely no similarities at all, and it was not good. We couldn't be fun. We couldn't really be truly fun with one another because what one of us felt was fun, the other disdained, and
Hmm.
it's that is so important to a part of the relationship is that you have that and that your relationship doesn't just get based upon the day in, day out that you do, or that you go head into a relationship and it's all just about sex or attraction.
Right. So that's where, of course, being silly, you have to have similar, you don't have to have the exact same interests, but you have to have enough shared interests and passions together and respect for that, where you don't get weirded out, you don't get exhausted from it. You can be yourself. You can let your guard down,
Mhm.
feel vulnerable with this person. It's like, yeah, I can be my silly self, and then I can be silly with this person and sexy at the same
Mhm.
time. Like, for instance, I'm just saying, let's say playing video games and fooling around while playing video games. I'm just saying, like, that, those two matching together. Like, if you
Yes.
wanted to do that. But then, okay, so you're like, okay, the relationship's going really great. We're both still having fun. We're having fun, with the passion and intimacy. We're having fun being silly together. But
Mhm.
then at the end of the day, deep into the relationship, well, I say at the beginning, but that's just me.
Oh, yeah.
I
Most
I
definitely.
want I want to know if I can be serious with my partner, who, again, like Lee said, should be your best friend.
Mhm.
Because you can't just be sexy. You can be sexy with anybody. You can't just be silly. You can be silly with almost anybody too. But to be serious, I'm talking about dead serious, like talking about life or death stuff, talking
Mhm.
about the morbid things that most people would say, oh, that's taboo. You shouldn't be talking about that. Or no, that's too much stress. That's too much to think about right
Mhm.
now. Let's go back to just watching something, a fantasy movie, which I love. I love fantasy, but you have to have someone who is aware of how things are, lives in the real world, even though I'd love to live in a fantasy world, but you can
Mhm.
talk to and say, look, can I be serious with you? How do you feel about us in the long run? What are you hoping for out of this relationship? Do you, like, let's say faith? What is your faith? What are your beliefs
Mhm.
in that? What is most meaningful to you in your heart? Never mind the
Mhm.
silly stuff, never mind the sexy stuff. I want to know what you hold truest in
Mhm.
your
And are they
heart.
gonna be there?
Are
Because
you going to be there? Yes.
if you can't be serious in your relationship, the first time that there is any kind of bump
Hmm.
or hardship or
Yes.
whatever, you're gonna
Hmm.
be at each other's throat because you've based your relationship fully on the silliness or the sexiness or the silly and sexiness. You haven't built it on that let's face it, guys, life can be a pain in the ass sometimes. It can be very hard and very dark, and you need someone that you know with every fiber of your being is going to be standing there, with their back to your back, defending your relationship and your perseverance through those dark times. If you don't got that, a lot of relationships are shallow and that's why they explode.
Hmm.
This is where the cheating comes in, or the fighting, the violent fighting and screaming and yelling and all that is because it was not based on those 3 S's. You have to have all 3 or that's
It's
gonna implode.
it's sort of like the Trinity. It is the Trinity that makes a relationship. I mean, you could say it makes a marriage, a relationship, or anything. Friendship, it's all that.
Mhm,
And you can have uh, 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, but if you don't have all 3 of those, then it
mhm,
will most likely not last and it will not thrive as you hoped it
mhm.
would. So, yeah, let's say again, we're just going to go back to each one individually. Let's say you meet someone who is very serious, like a very serious businessman, businesswoman. All they talk about is serious things. They don't watch anything funny. They don't like to play games of any kind. They don't like to laugh. But they're serious. I mean, you can talk to them, but then you're like, something is missing. I'm missing some enjoyment out of my life, some fun out of my life.
This goes into, though, also, I'm gonna throw this in, just because you're a serious person doesn't mean you don't have a person out there, because there might be another person who is just as serious and has
Hmm.
the same level of whatever passion that you have, and their means of silliness and this and that might be the same stuff that where other people would say it was boring as hell.
Hmm.
Like maybe you get chuckles out of the Wall Street Journal stock exchange, and they'll be over there,
Right.
"Oh, did you see that this?" You need to find someone with that same, it doesn't mean just because you're serious you can't have a relationship. You just have to find someone who matches your energy on that. Because if you get someone who's happy, go lucky, they like to have fun, it's going to blow up because eventually your personality is going to suck the life out of them, and they're going to be a real big pain in your ass, and you're going to be having headaches and stuff all the time because you just cannot wrap your brain around why the hell they're so silly. In your
Hmm.
brain, it's going to be they're stupid. They act so stupid. So you have to find people with matching energy. And that's what we're talking about with these S's. You have to find a person that's completely, and Ash and I, we have that. I mean, we are so perfectly aligned. It's actually kind of creepy, scary sometimes.
Yeah.
And our relationship isn't based on, I mean, yeah, I thought he was hot and this and that, but even if he became disfigured, I would just love him just as much. And I know I'm not the most gorgeous woman in the world, but he saw past, and like I said, I got the loose skin and this and that. He saw the
And even
turkey
I,
neck.
even I make fun of that. That's another
He
thing
does.
about
It's
like,
hilarious. He calls me a turkey, and so I go.
I'm not going
But
to
see,
do
we
it.
had this same sense of humor. I know that he's just teasing because he knows I'm very self-conscious about it. And so he tries to tease me and I start laughing because I know exactly what he's doing. But again, that goes back into our silliness,
Hmm.
and that he knows that that's the way to get me to stop focusing on my little turkey giblet here. That's loose skin, and stuff like that. But there's parts of me he finds attractive. But I know I'm not like this gorgeous whatever, and I am a little bit older than him, but we mesh on all 3 of those. I mean, we're very, very compatible on all 3 of those, and I think both of us, we realize that that is very hard to find all 3. It
Yes.
really is very hard to find all 3, and that's why we have so much happiness together. I mean, he's able to talk to me about stuff that he's never been able to talk to anybody about, and the same vice versa for me. He knows stuff that I've never told another soul. He is the only one I've ever told.
Yeah. And you want to find someone, not someone that completes you, like, oh, there's a big hole missing in my heart and she fills it. You don't want to think that way because then you're
Mhm.
using that person to fulfill your own wants.
Mhm.
Don't think of it like that. You want to think of yourself, respect yourself as your own individual person with your own
Mhm.
flaws. Everybody has flaws.
Oh God, yeah.
Everybody has quirks and all
Anyone
these
who
little
doesn't
things.
think they do, they're deluding themselves.
I'm just saying. But it's about finding someone who complements you, not
Mhm,
completes you. See, we complement each other,
mhm,
flaws and shared things that we have in common. So
mhm,
we complement each other perfectly.
mhm. And
And
same thing, the way that we process the world. We are very much alike in the way we process the world. Like,
that goes
so
back to the
whenever I,
serious topics,
yeah,
how we talk about what's happening in the world or whatever.
yeah,
We can talk about that.
we can talk about that. We have the same line of thinking. There's not any conflict in that. We have the same faith. We have the same, our backgrounds are very different. He was raised in a very loving, wonderful, fantastic home. Um, my mom, she had me very young, and unfortunately, she got hooked in with a very violent psychopath. So
Mhm.
I was raised in a very horrible home. Matter of fact, I don't remember a lot of my childhood. That's how horrible it was. But we had different backgrounds on that, but it's given us different strengths.
Mhm.
He has strengths that he got from being raised in such a wonderful home, and I got strengths too. Like I have an unbendable will. I'm very forthright, even though I am very much an introvert. Don't ever let anyone, I know I don't seem like it, but I really am. I don't like to talk to people very much.
Me too. Yeah.
But because of
Yeah.
my background, I had to advocate and be my own force of will, and I had to move past that,
Mhm.
and I can move past that. I read people very quickly. I see things that other people miss, and all of it's because of my background, and it has actually greatly benefited my career in the legal law enforcement, those kind of communities, because I was raised by a criminal and I see things that other normal people miss. But it gave me this fortitude and strength of will that, like trouble comes up and it's like, nah, we're gonna kill those cockroaches. you know, I
Yeah.
mean, but I'm just saying it that, and so we can balance each other out with these strengths that we got from our backgrounds, but in the ways of who we are and the way we communicate and the way that we are when we're together, we're better when we're together than when we're apart.
Mhm.
We both recognize that, and we are like a completed puzzle, when we're together. I don't know how else to explain that without sounding weird.
Eh, no, that
But we're
like a completed puzzle. Never mind.
that's the other
D-
thing. We're very much like that way too. So
say
anyway,
say dark sense of humor, dirty sense of humor, all of
yeah,
that.
yeah. We're just, and it's we've been apart more than we've been together physically, but you know what, guys? Every single night we are on for hours, every single night together.
Mhm.
I honestly think that we talk and we've spent more time together without the lust taking fully over, that usually happens in relationships. So we know each other deeper and more better than people that are physically together. Because if we were living in the same town, we would not be seeing each other every night. We just wouldn't. We
Mhm.
would, in the dating and all this and that, we wouldn't have seen each other. We see each other literally every night. This is how we came up with this idea to do this show, because we were already doing it. We were already seeing each other every night. We were already reacting and having a good time and watching movies and talking and everything every night. So it's like, well, we're just going to film it. People can see how we are together,
Mhm.
and what you see is how we are, and of course, it's a little tamed down on some areas, but
Okay, I told Lee like on most of our reactions, particularly the ones on YouTube. I can't say the same about Patreon because they pay for the full experience, of course. But it's like I try to keep it rather tame. I say
Peach.
PG-13. I'll keep no PG-13. You might have the occasional F-bomb thrown in there if you're reacting or you're shook. You're like,
Especially
whoa. It's
holy,
like yeah,
yeah.
stuff like I keep it like a commentary on wrestling, back in the day. Good old
Mhm.
JR, oh damn it,
Yeah.
what the hell, son of a bitch. All of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have it's never been in my in my manners to just swear all the time. I don't even
He's
swear
very
casually.
polite.
I really don't. I only swear like if I'm just trying to trying to do commentary
I
for
am
something like
working
that.
on mine. I'm
Yeah.
different than him in that I do have a mouth on me, but when you have worked literally in the legal and law enforcement
Mhm.
community for since 1999,
Yeah.
you're working in very dark and ugly conditions, and some of these guys will not will not even hear you unless you drop an
You,
F-bomb. So you
you,
pick up a lot of language, and I
yeah.
am actually, now that I'm not directly dealing with criminals all the time in my new position, that I am trying to purge the worst of that out, because there was a time that I never cursed, and it over a period of time it comes out, and so it still slips out. So I
Hey,
apologize
it's
if
okay
it
if it
ever
slips
does.
out. That's okay. I'm not talking about like saying every other word.
Oh yeah, well
And
I
maybe
try
some
not
people.
to. Sometimes I do without even thinking about it, but I try to. And especially
Yeah.
I try to be very respectful, if I'm in mixed company, especially if I'm with his parents or stuff like that, because I don't want to ever offend anyone.
Right. I want to be respectful of other people because when
Yes.
when people are around me, I treat them like guests, whether they're family or friends. I'm like, look, I want to be good company for these people. I don't want these people to feel uncomfortable when they're around me. And
Mhm.
so I am going to be respectful and of what they may not want me to be loud, brash, uh, profane, any of those things. But when it's just the two of us together, we can talk however we want to. We don't offend each other. That's the thing.
No.
We've never been offended by one thing that you've said or anything like that.
Yeah, no, like I said, we've only had a couple little bounces, but the same day worked out within
But
a
it
few
was more like
hours. It was
miscommunication rather
miscommunication, yeah, and
not
once
an
we
argument.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't even an argument. We weren't yelling at each other or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was just once we got a chance to actually sit down and talk to each other, then it's like, oh, well,
Like
that's,
this. We would let's say we
yeah,
had to. We would call each other on
yeah.
video and we would
Hmm.
talk like this.
And
So,
then we
yeah.
get the miscommunication sorted out, and because especially if you're talking through like text messaging and stuff like that,
Right, right.
you can take something out of context as how it was meant. And a lot of our little hiccups was something like that, like he was saying something about one thing, for instance, and I was assuming something other, he was meaning something else, and it wasn't that. And then once we sat and talked with each other,
it's
then it's like, oh, you meant it that way, because
it's
then
like
we
if
can
you
see each
don't
other's reactions, we hear each other's voice, we know what tone was actually being used and stuff like that,
It's like
and
if you don't put an LOL at the end of every message, they're going to take you seriously. You've seen those memes when you don't put LOL at the end of every sentence. It's like that face of Stone Cold Steve Austin going like that, like serious, like he's just grumpy or something.
well, and
Yeah.
and so yes, and a lot of times it was like if I was at work or something like that, and we couldn't talk, like normal, is where it's some of the miscommunication came. But we always were very good. I have three rules myself for any relationship, and if there's only three things that can end a relationship, in my opinion, that should end a relationship: no cheating, no beating, and no leaving. And leaving can be emotional too, not just physical. So those are my three rules in a relationship, because these are all trust issues, and once trust is gone, you can work on it. You can, someone might forgive you or whatever for it, but you're never going to have the same trust again.
Mhm.
And these three rules, once they're broken, there's no going back.
Mhm.
You can patch it over, but it's kind of like, one partner cheats, for instance. All right.
Mhm.
And the other partner, forgives them and decides to try to keep the relationship. And I'm going to tell you something, and I know this because of how many people I know that they have these relationships where this has happened. For
Mhm.
the rest of the relationship, if they're a little late, if they say something that seems a little shady or anything like that, they instantly assume that they're out messing around on them every
Mhm.
single time. They can forgive, they can move on, but they never have a sense of peace ever again. None of them. None of the people I've ever known, they never have that. And it doesn't matter, if the other partner doesn't realize this. A lot of times they don't. They think, oh, well, they got over it. It's all good, this and that.
Mhm.
And that person might not ever cheat again. But that trust, I'm telling you, in their heart, every time there's something a little off, they think that's what they're doing
Mhm.
every single time, if even just for a flicker of a second. And that is no way to live. And I am one that I will not live that way. I will not be tortured that way. That is a immediate thing. So, of course, again, what did I say? I'm very self-willed. I'm also very blunt. I can shred someone really fast if I really want to. But
Well, that's
here's the thing. Here's the sweet thing about me. Okay, so yeah, I'm this way, but you know what else I am? I'm also fiercely loyal. And generally speaking, I don't go after it. I will not get in someone's face if it's something dealing with me. It's always about someone else. It's about
Mhm.
someone else that I love or care about. Me, I'm just like, "Pfft, I don't care. You know, whatever. Move along, trash. you know, but they cross or hurt someone I love. Oh, mm, the red hair comes out. That's
yeah.
all
I
I'm gonna
mean,
say.
yeah, I mean, we're both a fan of the John Wick movies. If you
Oh
catch our
yeah.
drift,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I don't care what you do to me, but don't be messing with my loved one.
Mhm.
So, but like I said, me and him were simpatico, and we just thought that this might be fun for you guys to kind of know how we met, how we kept our relationship. I mean, honestly, I love him more now than I have ever loved him. Every day I love him more and more. He is just he just brings joy to my heart. Um, I feel like we get more and more of all the three S's together. The longer we are together, I feel, I have no desire, want, or even aspirations of ever looking for anyone else ever again. He's my last. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't do much better than me. So, yeah,
that's right.
yeah. Yeah, you can't get much better than the Ashmaster. Yeah, yeah.
Again, silliness.
See, I'm not cocky. I am not
He
cocky at
really
all
is.
in
He
real
really
life.
isn't cocky. When he says stuff like that, he's joking
It's
because
all
I'm always the
jokes.
one telling him, baby, you have no idea.
Hmm.
You have no idea how awesome you are.
But
And he looks at me like
yeah.
I'm crazy.
I give her that. What does that Chihuahua look like?
Yeah.
Those dogs.
So,
So, but yeah, I feel like with those principles, you also have to have principles, and you have to have a strong foundation. And it feels like our foundation is becoming stronger every
mhm,
day. Some foundations just get weaker and weaker. No, ours is like concrete. It just
mhm,
the longer it goes on, the harder it gets.
mhm. Absolutely. That's exactly how I feel too.
Hmm.
You know, when you meet that person that is your perfect fit like that in all three of those ways, everyone else just is dog trash. They can be the most handsome, or for the men, the most beautiful, gorgeous, whatever. But what I have learned is that people that are generally very handsome or whatever, they have a lot of issues in other ways, and I'm not saying that if you're gorgeous, you are, because I have known some very nice, very wonderful people that are. But a lot of times, these people, because they have been so handsome or beautiful or whatever their entire life, they have cultivated a life that they live off of that.
Mhm.
Every aspect of their life, a lot of times, and they need to find other beautiful people so that they're on the same wavelength. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's why you see that in Hollywood. That's why Hollywood stars date Hollywood stars usually. It's very rare for them to go outside of their own pool for
And
that
at
reason.
at that point, it's almost more rather than not just attraction, but status. It's
Mhm.
about image, self-image.
Mhm.
How does this reflect among
Mhm.
everybody? Because since I'm so popular, I don't want it to affect how people think of me. So people who date other actors simply for that reason, that's really, I'd say, issues of insecurity or simply not knowing or bothering to want to date, take the time
Well,
to date outside of those few circles of Hollywood actor friends
well,
you may know.
I think it
Yeah.
goes back with them though too with Hollywood stars, which this actually
Mhm.
goes into our niche. With Hollywood stars, it's extremely difficult for them because they will never know if someone outside is genuinely with them or if they're there for their
Just their fame.
their fame and their money. And
Mhm.
the same is true of like people that come from very well-off families. This is why they have a tendency. Plus, it's not just that, but when we talked about the three S's,
Mhm.
they're gonna, when you have the same thing, you're gonna have more of the same vibe because you're gonna have that more of a mindset in a certain direction. So you need someone that's gonna be the same kind of mindset and understanding and worldview. And it's the same thing with very rich and powerful families and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and going really quick to talk about the celebrities, I'm not going to mention names, but I'm sure people know about it. You see a lot of 50, 60, 70-year-old actors who are dating 20-year-old girls in Hollywood. And you're
Mhm.
like, okay, I wonder how if an average 70-year-old man could just get a normal, like, some
No.
sexy, hot 20-year-old girl. It's like,
No.
no, the main reason she's with them is the fame, the money, the attention, whatever.
And
That's the
everyone
main.
knows it. And everyone
Everyone
knows
knows
it.
it.
There might be like
Mhm.
1 in 100
Yes.
billion that's not like that, but it's extremely rare, and it's kind of a danger for some of them. I kind of feel bad for them because they're being used, you
And
know.
the thing is, they
Um,
probably, going back to the three S's, with that big of a generational gap, like a
mhm.
30 or 40-year age gap between them. I mean, my goodness, what other than, let's say, the money or the attraction, if there is any attraction, of course. But what else do you really have in common? Do you share the exact same interest from the someone that enjoys things from 40 years ago versus someone who enjoys only the things that are out now? And can
Mhm.
you talk about anything serious together? So those kinds
Well,
of
it's usually
relationships, I just don't see them lasting.
it's a
Yeah,
vanity thing usually,
yeah.
here's the thing, guys. This is another big thing in a relationship. You have to acknowledge that you will get old.
Hmm.
And this is why a relationship built on sexiness will fall apart and destroy itself if that's all it's based on. Because one day you will get old. You will start getting wrinkles, or like me, getting loose skin when you lose weight and stuff like that. Your features will change. You will change, and ain't no one getting out of that. And if you are not in love with the person's soul,
Hmm.
like we are, if you are just, looking for someone that makes you look good or something like that, or gets your buddies envious, but
Hmm.
there's nothing else to your relationship other than that, eventually that person, that even the sexiest woman alive, even if they go get plastic surgery and stuff like that, you know what? They're still gonna get old and they're still gonna look ugly compared to what they used to look like, no
And
matter how much work. And usually, if they get the work, they look worse.
yeah.
Um, but it's never that's inescapable for everyone, you know. So you have to love the soul. You have to have all three of those, but you have to love the soul. And I'm telling you guys, if you truly have that that connection, even as you get older, you're going to still find your partner just as sexy as the first day you met them because you are attracted now not to this physical facade, you're attracted to their soul, who they are.
Mhm.
And that you're still going to find them sexy because it'll be little things that they do that just, things like that, but that's the thing. You have to acknowledge that this person is not going to remain whatever they look like now. And a lot of men that marry in for sexiness, they get
Mhm.
really upset whenever their sexy wife has a child or two, and all of a sudden she got a big butt, big thighs, a little belly. She's not the sexy little kitten she used to be, and then they start straying. Why? Because their entire relationship was based on sexiness.
Mhm.
And the same thing for whatever sex it is that you are, if it's not based on all three of those pillars, there's going to be rough times ahead because you have to have that to make it work. And me and him, we spend most of our times physically apart from each other. Hopefully not for too much longer. But I need him and he needs me. Whether anyone realizes that or not, we need
Nah,
each other.
nah.
Yes, whatever. You know it's true. But we really do. We like I said, we are better together than when we're apart. But we're extremely happy when we're together, and we're really sad when we're not physically together. But we have crafted a relationship through modern technology, thank God, that is like Ash said, that it is concrete. We're not going to waver no matter how long it takes. We've decided on each other, and it's a beautiful thing.
And we've decided in the interim, until we can't be together, that we do these reactions for you as
Yeah,
often as we can because, like I
it's
said,
fun.
it's
It's
fun.
fun. We have a good time, and
We are
it helps
both
us.
passionate about movies. We
Oh, yeah.
love watching movies. We're very reactive people. We love being silly. We love laughing.
Yep.
We like having fun. But at the same time, we can take a step back and talk about things that really matter.
Yes.
And then after we had that serious conversation, we can be sexy together. I'll say another thing. Always end the day on a good note. No
Oh,
matter
yeah,
no matter
yeah.
what happens, make sure the end of the day is the most important.
I always try to send him a message every night. Right
Mhm.
before I fall asleep, I send the message, "I love you."
No.
Every night before, I try to do it. There's a few times I've just passed out rock solid and didn't get it out, but I always try to have my last thing that I say to him, "I love you," because I want him to always know how much I love him.
You never know what day may be your last. You never know. You may fall asleep and not wake up. No one knows anything,
No one
really.
knows. No.
So you just enjoy what you have together and appreciate what you have together.
Mhm.
That's what makes a relationship work, is knowing, like Lee said, that it's not going to last, nothing's going to last forever, that everyone is going to get old, and to appreciate what you both share and what you
Mhm.
both can experience together,
Yeah.
and hopefully build a great life together.
Yes.
So anyway, not to be too mushy, but yeah, that
Yeah. I am the more vocal one. But he expresses his love in his actions,
Mhm,
and actions speak very loudly, you know. I'm the one that's more vocal, but he shows his love,
mhm.
and um, I just adore him so much. And I hope that this talk helps some of you guys that might be looking
If
on
yes,
what
absolutely.
things to look for. For those that aren't, but we're just curious about how in the hell we've managed to do this for almost 4 years. Now you got your answer.
How we were able to last this long, and even coming up on 4 years into the relationship, we just
Mm,
started this channel, and we had talked about it earlier this year. It was like, you know what? Why don't we just try it? Let's just try it and see what happens, because we like doing it anyway.
right.
And in the last month, especially, I'd say since July, the 1st of July, end of June, it's just taken off like a rocket ship.
Mm-hmm.
And from where we started, and God, we appreciate everyone. We
Oh God,
appreciate
yeah.
everyone who watches, everyone who subscribes. We appreciate our few Patreon members, but we do appreciate them, everybody.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah.
we look forward every week this gives me especially something to look forward to doing every week, many
Mhm.
days of the week.
Mhm.
Whether we record on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, we're recording 5 or 6 days out of the week.
This week it's 7 days out of the week.
7 days out of the week. We
Because Monday's
decided
our
to
usual, yeah, Monday is our usual day of rest. We'll be
just
posting
rest
this
day.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
but we decided to go ahead and do it because we wanted to do a video one as well as the podcast.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, ooh.
We're just glad you guys are with us. Yeah, we've exposed ourselves.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that you had a good time listening to how we became. Now you guys know us a little bit better, and we just enjoy all of you. Like Ash said, we're very thankful for you all, whether you are our YouTube family, whether you're our Patreon free family, whether you're our Patreon family tier family. We love every one of you guys. We enjoy making these videos for you guys, and we hope that you guys will hang in with us and truly be our movie family.
Oh
And
yes.
so,
And we always will strive to be genuine with everyone.
mhm,
We're always going
mhm,
to be ourselves.
right.
We're never going to put on a facade. We're not going to change the way we do things to please anybody. We appreciate any suggestions, constructive criticism. Of course, we want to bring you the best quality content we can, and we try to
Mhm.
do that every week. And heck, I've got stuff planned for Halloween
Yeah,
season, Christmas season.
he's got a list.
I've already got a
He's got a
list of
list.
everything because
Yeah.
things should be done in a certain order, and
Mhm.
I want it to play out in a fun way for everybody. I want everybody to get
Mhm.
excited when they see every week. Oh, he's got those movies ready. It's like, yeah. So we love the Fan Fridays because that's a total mystery to us.
Yeah,
We don't know
that's a
what we're gonna
random.
watch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a random. Like the one that we watched for this next Fan Friday was a great movie. But anyway, we're gonna let you guys go because we are well past an hour. I don't think we meant to
Oh,
talk this long.
sorry, not sorry.
This was supposed to be a 30-minute, 40-minute thing, and it's turned into
Yeah, 40
this.
minutes,
But
my ass.
this is what happened. This is when you let introverts off the hook because we can speak freely when there's no people around.
Well, now you can see how we talked so long the first night we called each other. We were talking for like 5 hours on the
Oh
phone.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
best day of my life was meeting him.
oh,
So
okay.
we wish you all a good evening. We wish all of you find your perfect match if you haven't.
Mhm.
And we are so thankful that you're our family,
Yes.
and
Thank you, everybody.
we'll see you at the movies.
Take care, everyone.